I mean, I guess people kind of know, but it's been that Trump has been announcing a lot of like his cabinet picks for the when he retakes power in January, and I mean, of course, many of them are controversial, like any cabinet basically. But it seems one has kind of risen to the top as the most disliked pick at the moment, except for Matt Gaetz, because obviously he dropped out. But it's Pete Hegseth, as I mentioned, and it's probably going to be the case that he's not going to get the nomination without some sort of fight in the Senate to get confirmed. Now, I would have said before then, like I said, Matt Gaetz was probably the biggest guy that they're going to have problems with, and probably the only one I could think of since he was the only one who had a lot of bad blood with other Republicans. But that may not be the case, as some other information around it is that he was the weekend anchor for Fox and Friends. So of course, he's a qualified candidate for Secretary of Defense. And yeah, I know he's a combat veteran or something. He served in the military before. He's not. It's not like he never has. So yeah, I get that, but I don't know. Were there no possible candidates who aren't best known for being hosts on Fox News? I mean, I don't know. I guess not. I just feel like I need to point that out because people keep forcing the correction that he's not just a Fox News host. Which, yeah, I mean, I acknowledge he's not. He's done more than that, but he is a Fox News host. That is the truth. But anyway, that's not the reason some people are actually against his nomination. And according to the New York Times and actually some other sources, he has kind of a troubled past. I'm not going to go completely into it, but he's at least a former alcoholic, a serial cheater, an unscrupulous businessman, and just overall not a good guy. And again, that's according to like New York Times and what they're saying. And there's an article in the New York Times I read about it. And yeah, so I'm not claiming that he is any of these things. I'm just saying that's what is being claimed against him. And I guess from that, I mean, I don't know. I guess Trump sure knows how to pick him, I guess. But I don't know. If it just comes from these allegations, like there may be more to it than this. But it seems there's at least some resistance among even Republican senators to vote for him. Because for people who forgot, the Republicans will have a majority in the Senate, but it's going to be a relatively slim majority. And they need all the votes they can get, and apparently they might not get them, which was evidenced by Matt Gaetz, since, again, there was Republican opposition to him as well. Because if Republicans vote as a bloc, they can get anyone confirmed because they have a majority, but that's not necessarily going to be the case every time. And I doubt there's going to be a lot of Democrats who are going to be willing to vote for these guys. So, on top of these allegations, Lindsey Graham, a senator from South Carolina, who most people I think know, he said, quote, some of this stuff is going to be difficult on the path, how these look on Pete's record going forward with his nomination. And I mean, yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. You could say it's going to be difficult. It seems that, and this is probably obvious that he would, that Hegseth denies the allegations, or at least some of them. Because according to the New York Times, again, the same article, if I remember correctly, he admitted to cheating on his first two wives, but he said he's been faithful to his current wife, which, I mean, funny how that works, I guess, since his current wife, the one he's married to now, and that's the one that makes a difference here. I mean, he never cheated on that one, I guess. But he did flatly deny the alcoholic allegations, though. So I guess that's something. So I don't know. Maybe he's not an alcoholic. I mean, I think he admitted, if I remember correctly, he admitted to drinking before. Like, not that he completely has never drank, but that was never an alcoholic. So who knows what the truth is on that? I don't even know if there's any truth to a lot of these allegations in terms of like actual proof. So that's why it's important to say like allegedly, and this is not any of this. This is not confirmed. I mean, I guess the cheating is technically confirmed because he admitted to it, but the other stuff is not confirmed. And also, along with Matt Gaetz and now Pete, I mean, it seems that the pattern I've kind of noticed is that Trump kind of has he's had the most tumultuous time picking a cabinet out of any president, at least in my lifetime. Because there hasn't really been a time in recent memory where the president had that much trouble really putting together their cabinet, or at least who their picks for cabinet positions were. I mean, I don't know. Was there this much drama with when Biden did or when Trump did the first time? I mean, again, maybe there was and I just forgot, but I don't feel like there wasn't. And he's really, I think he's had the roughest time with the transition in general of any president in recent memory, with one exception, which was the last transition, and that was probably the worst one in recent years. And funnily enough, I mean, it's different, but Trump was involved with that one too. So I don't know. I wonder, is that a coincidence? I don't know. People can say maybe it is, maybe it's not. But also to make matters worse for Pete, I guess there's rumors as well that there's a good chance Trump isn't really that. He doesn't have a hard out for making sure that Pete gets in, considering the fact that considering the I mean, not just because of the allegations against him, but because he criticized Trump. There was a resurfaced video from 2016 where Pete called Trump all bluster, very low substance, and quote, an armchair tough guy. And he also criticized how Trump spoke about John McCain back in the day, which I mean is not really surprising, especially for back then, because I mean, to be fair, how could you look at what he said if you're a member of the military and not have some problem with it? I mean, I don't know. there's probably people who are going to prove me wrong, but that's just how I feel. And I was obviously never in the military, so I can't tell them how to feel about things. But that's just what I see from it. And also, I don't know if this is true or not, but rumors that I've seen on Twitter now, and again, this is from Twitter, and it's not trustworthy at all, but this is just, I've seen multiple people saying this, that he's considering replacing Pete with Ron DeSantis as his nomination, which I actually would be surprised by if he would. I mean, I wouldn't be completely surprised if he chose someone else for the nomination, but DeSantis, I would assume not, because he was the number one challenger. Well, he wasn't really the number one challenger, but he was one of the highest profile challengers to Trump, getting the Republican nomination last year and earlier this year. So he's not really like a complete loyalist either. And I thought he was like Meatball Ron. I thought Trump and that guy were not friends anymore, or if they were ever really friends. So I don't know if he's going to get replaced. If he does get replaced by Ron DeSantis, which I said I don't think it's impossible that he'll get replaced, but maybe not by Ron DeSantis. If he does, I guess that just shows Pete screwed up bad, because if he doesn't get replaced, I wouldn't put Ron DeSantis one of my top rumored choices as who's going to replace him. So I don't know how things go from this point forward with Pete. Like I said, I don't think that if he gets his place taken by someone else, it's going to be Ron DeSantis. I don't know who it would be, but probably not him. But it would be interesting to see, like, if he does it. It's not impossible. He could get in. Because if you look at the list of past few Secretary of Defenses, there was James Mattis, Mark Esper, Lloyd Austin, and possibly a Fox News host. Which I don't know. Spot which one's different than the other ones. I don't know. It's kind of there is a break in the pattern. So I don't know if you can spot which one's different.